Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a bit of a pantry tour. I have cleaned out the pantry during the school holidays and I just thought I'd give you a run through on what my cupboard looks like now. And I don't have like a stockpile cupboard anymore, so I haven't really updated you since I had my stockpile in my laundry. And towards the end of this video I will have a Milkrun haul as well, so stick around if you're interested in looking at the grocery haul. So I'll start with this main shelf. This is located just basically in the middle of my pantry. I have got this spinning snacks turntable. I put the snacks in there that I think that they're allowed to have when they want them. I've also got a noodle drawer here, which is pretty handy. I just put all the noodles in there, and sometimes they're mac and cheese. Over here I have purchased a few of those little turntables for like oils and vinegar and things like that, and they are really handy for making space in your pantry or even in your fridge. As you can see, I've just got like my vinegars on there. Sometimes, you know, I'll put lemon juice like I've got on there, and my olive oils and my olive oil sprays and things like that. So just so easy just to, you know, spin around if you need it or whatever. I've got sort of the bickies in reach of the kids, because if I don't put them in reach, they will end up climbing on chairs and things like that to get them. So I'd rather them have a biscuit than fall off a chair, to be honest. So I've got a lot of those Milkrun jars I've collected over the years, and they're really good for keeping biscuits fresh. And I've got like shapes in one, I've got some sweet bickies in another, and a few more sweet bickies in other things as well. Sometimes we end up opening up too many bickies and I have to find all these jars, and then the biscuits go to waste. So I keep telling the kids just eat one packet at a time before I fill the biscuit jar up again. So now looking at the next shelf up, I've got another turntable here where I put my Vegemite, my peanut butter, my honeys, Nutella, which we don't often eat, but these are just so handy. You can get them from anywhere, but these ones are from Kmart, but we really love them. Like, they're just such space savers, as you can see. But this shelf here is just like, it's sort of more like rices and things like that. So I've got my big jar of honey there, which I have to be careful of. I've taken it out many times. Ants just keep on getting all over it for some reason. That's the only place they want to stay. I think we're getting some wet weather coming. So I've got the big thing of rice here, which I usually buy rice in like 5 kilo bags. So that's like a stockpile thing for me, the rice, which I do put in the cupboard below. I've just got beans and lentils and barley and things like that. They sort of go onto that shelf there because I do use them regularly. And I've also got gravy there, which is sort of at least once a week sort of thing. So those sort of things go like down below the top shelf where I usually have all my baking and flours and things. I've got, you know, Nesquik and Milos and things like that usually that just go on that shelf. And another turntable. I just find these so easy on each corner of the pantry. And they're so cheap as well. So this is more like seeds and gravies and salt and pepper and things like that. It doesn't really matter what shelf or what turntable the things end up on, because let's face it, with kids they just put things anywhere. But it doesn't matter. It all ends up in the cupboard eventually, and sometimes messier than what you want. But yeah, so this is just basically the beans and things like that. So that's what I've got here. I don't really stockpile as much as like I used to. I've learnt, and plus the other thing is it's just too expensive. So I get what we need because I know what we need now. So I don't have an extra stockpile pantry anymore. I've just rearranged this pantry to fit everything that we need. So this is basically my essentials sort of shelf here, and this is really where I kind of stockpile a lot more items like cans. So this is basically the can items that I feel that we eat a lot of in our house, instead of having a pile, like a stockpile pantry of things that we didn't really eat as much and just going crazy and filling it up. So I've got like broths and things in here because I use a lot of broths in soups and stews, and I really like this new Maggie Beer one. It's really delicious and it feels like there's a lot of nutrition in it, and they sort of use natural ingredients. Like, of course, if you make your own, it's a lot cheaper and things like that, but I've been there and done that, and nowadays the bones and things like that are pretty expensive. So I've got like a natural chicken stock. Like, I didn't show you my grocery haul from last week, so this is pretty much what I got. I got a chicken stock, and I've also got the beef stock as well. So these are really nice, and they're really nice and rich in stews. They are expensive. They're like $5 something a bag, but you know, I don't we don't have them all the time. And I did try these new Uncle Toby's Goodness Shakes. You get 7 for about $11 something, so they are expensive. But I find they do fill you up, and the kids enjoy them some mornings when they just don't feel like a heavy breakfast. So it's not something I'd buy a lot of, but they are nice. And at the back there, I've just got like vitamins and Baroccas and things like that in the back there. But yeah, I would buy them if they come on special. Again, if they were half price, those milkshakes would be a great purchase. So over here I've just got my King Oscar sardines and my tuna. Now I did try these sardines, and this is the second lot I got. This is a new batch. 4 cans of King Oscar sardines for like $7 something. They are in spring water and instead of oil, but they're really nice and they're a really good product. And I've got a lot of cans like spaghettis and Heinz. Well, I've got a lot of spaghettis because they were on special. And I've got a couple of cans of soups, but I always want to have a bit of a stockpile on the soups, even if it's just 4 cans in stock. I'm sort of down at the moment with 2 cans, but coming up to like, flu season, which we're in already, but it's good to have canned foods, especially when you just don't feel like cooking yourself something. You can have spaghetti on toast or soup. And I've always got a can of ham. I find the smaller cans are are better for our family than the big can I was buying. So now I just get a little can of it. It doesn't go off. We eat it pretty quickly, and we don't often have it, but it's a good staple in the pantry to have. And I've got a bit of a stockpile of the big red soup, tomato soup. The kids really like this, so I've got a few cans there, and I've got like canned beans, and I do want to try and have a little bit of a stockpile of the vegetables like green peas and green beans and things like that. And once again, I'm low on Italian like peeled tomatoes. I really like to have 4 or 5 cans as a stockpile on that as well, because we just go through it so quickly. And condensed milk is always good. It's always a must-have as a stockpile item for our family. You can use it as tea and coffees. You can use it as desserts. It's so versatile. So I do like to have more than 1 can, but I am just accumulating a few cans here, and this is where they sort of go on this shelf here. And I have got a few bottles of pasta sauces, which is another must-have as a stockpile item in our pantry, because we just go through so much of it, and it's always something you can just put together. It's always easy. So I've got some bolognese sauces here, and I always have either a tube or a bottle of tomato paste. This time I've chosen to get the Legos in my last haul, because I just wanted to try it. I have had like the sachets of Legos before, and it was really good, so I just bought the bottle, and we're going to make a lot more stews and spaghettis and that this week. So I did get just the normal tube, but it's always great to have the pasta sauces, canned tomatoes, and tomato paste. Another great thing I always have in my pantry is the cheddar cheese, the processed block, just the cupboard one. It's always handy to have in case you run out of cheese. And it's not that expensive, you know what I mean? It's a good standby, because let's face it, we always run out of cheese. I do anyway. But the kids are always like, this one's always good on toasted cheese sandwiches and things like that. So I always have a bit of a block of cheese there for when we run out. So that's always a good stockpile item. And another thing is the good old aeroplane jelly. I do like to have 4 or 5 of these. I'm down a little bit now because I do need to stockpile up on a lot more things at the moment, but definitely aeroplane jelly is one, especially when the kids have got a cold, or you can always have it with custard, ice cream and jelly. It's always a great versatile thing to have in your pantry. So this one here is probably the most unorganised shelf that I've got, but this is where all the cake items go. I've got some cake muffin cases there in a bag, so many of them, but they're a good standby to have because we do make muffins a lot. This is my cakey sort of box here, like with vanilla essence and bits and pieces, to be honest. Like there's hundreds and thousands in there. There's piping bags, colorings, whatever I can find usually goes into this little container here instead of being loosely thrown into the pantry. It's just a little cake box I can just bring down when I need a few things. That's just a bag of chocolate icing sugar that I've got in there. But yeah, I just throw them in there whenever I sort of need it. I can get it at my convenience. And the rest of the items on the top shelf is just flowers. I have got a stockpile of tea up there as well, just cake items like custards and brown sugars and all that sort of thing. So not that interesting. That's why it's all the way up the top. And now I've just taken you all the way down to the bottom shelf. This is where I have a few stockpile items as well. I've got this container from Kmart. I know lots of people have got this. I've had it for many years, but it's got all the kids' snacks in there and biscuits and all that sort of thing. The funny thing is they do go to this occasionally, but not as often as they go to the turntable. So they really don't pull the whole item out and go through the biscuits and things. So I don't really need to put it up high. But it's just got muesli bars in there and lots of snacks, whatever's in there and whatever I can get at the time, I guess, on special. Some Deli Rock chips, some Oreos, you know, just bits and pieces like that. And I try and stockpile it up when things are on special. And there's sometimes just things that they just don't like and they'll stay in there for a while. I've got these tasty nut bars, which they can't take to school because of the nuts. But, you know, we have them occasionally. And just a stockpile of Arnott's biscuits here. I'm really lucky. My mum always picks me up a few things that are on special and she gives them to me as well. So I've got a good supply of biscuits, you know, just in case. So really good. And I've also got crackers as well. So I try and stockpile up on normal biscuits and crackers as a standby in the pantry. And there's a pack of Oreos in the back there, which I must have been trying to hide from the kids. But yeah, really good to have some crackers, you know, just in case if you need them with cheese or whatever. And they're always good, and they are a lot cheaper than buying Le Snacks, which I do buy, and my Turkish Delight, which I have been hiding. I absolutely love Turkish Delights. But every time I get one, I do share it with everyone. I cut it up with a knife and give it a piece to everyone. And I've got a bag of soft tubes in there. But whatever, the sort of snacky items or lolly items go into this place here. And yeah, it's just easy. I just pull it out when the kids need it, and I try and have it well stocked. The next thing I've got here is just the container of UHT milk. I've sort of been doing this for years, even when I did have my stockpile pantry out in the laundry. So I really do try and have at least 4 litres of UHT milk at all time. And I don't have any powdered milk, but I really do like to have powdered milk or condensed milk as well. But, you know, there's a light in there and just whatever. Yeah, whatever I can get, I just sort of make sure I've got at least 4 litres on standby. But I do need to get some powdered milk because I do like to have that. But sometimes I find the powdered milk does go funny if you don't drink it after a while. That's why probably condensed milk is always better to have as a standby. But yeah, that's my sort of my milk part there. And the rest down here is basically a lot of cereals. The kids sort of reach for them down here. Well, I get them for their breakfast. They don't really get their own breakfast unless I put it out on the table the night before, which I do occasionally do. Yeah, it's whatever I can find. This is like chocolate pillows. There's always heaps of oats in this house because I have oatmeal every day. And got a big container of that and another container of Uncle Toby's oats. And I've got Fruit Loops. They don't really eat them that much, but they have a lot here they have to get through before I'm going to purchase any more. There's Nutri-Grain, and I always have heaps of Wheat Bix as a standby. And I did have a pack of that Uncle Toby's classic oats I bought last week because the kids don't really like the way I make the oats for some reason. They just think this is more special, which it doesn't taste any different, except it's got a lot more sugar in it. And I keep saying I can make these with honey and brown sugar. And I also make sure that I've got always a good standby of Wheat Bix. I always stock up on these. Well, not stock up, but I make sure I get the big box at least. We have them for like desserts, like we make slices out of them. They're great for breakfast. They're great even in smoothies. So I always make sure I've got some. There's just a few more left in there, which I couldn't fit into the container. But this container's pretty good. It's another one from Kmart, and they don't seem to go stale in there or anything like that. It's really hard to find containers that things don't go stale in. And sort of stick with them, and then they end up breaking, and then you're sort of back to square one again. Now I have got these plastic buckets from Kmart. They're really handy for pantries. I've got some backup items in here, like an everything box, I guess, but I sort of know what's in there. So this time I've got a packet of biscuits, which I always try and have another pack as a standby. So I've got some Clicks Arnott's in there because they were on special at some time. I've got a backup salt because we seem to always... Whenever we need salt, I always feel like we don't have it. So I always have a backup salt. Not really pepper, but always salt. They're just like those capsules for the Nescafe pod machine. And I've also got some whole lentils. Like I always have like a backup of lentils or barley or something like that. I've also got pastas in here. This is usually where the open bags of pasta end up, like when they're already opened, or backup ones. So I always like to have some backup pasta. Here I've just got some San Remo bow ties, which I was going to make a lasagna with a month ago and I didn't. And some more pastas, which I bought and I haven't eaten, but it's really good to have a bit of a backup there. I've also got these continental ones, for the kids or as a side dish with fish or salad or something like that. So I like to have them now, which is something I didn't really stock up on in the past, but they're pretty handy to have, even though they take so long to cook on the stove. I've also got a backup of brown rice. I usually buy a huge bag of white rice, but I'm out of it at the moment. But I usually get that basmati one, which is like 4 or 5 kilos for like $10 or so. But that's just a brown rice backup. I've still got another thing of oats. We've got so many oats in this house. I think I bought these when I was on holidays just about a month ago. So I brought them back with us, and some raw sugar, which we've opened. And I sort of look in this box and see that I need extra things. If the raw sugar's sort of open, then I know I have to go and get another bag pretty shortly. So that's why I only sort of get the special items. Like my pantry's not as good as it used to be, and it's not as organized, I guess, as what it was when I had a backup stockpile cupboard in a different room. But it works anyway, and I don't think I'm spending as much money trying to keep up with it, and I don't feel like I've got that stress of having to keep up with it all the time. But on the other hand, it's really good to have a stockpile on items that you're going to need, like a backup, especially with a family. So I've got some white vinegar here, which I need backup for, this is probably more for like making pickled onions and things. And I also have one under my kitchen sink for cleaning. But funny enough, when everyone started cleaning with vinegar, didn't the price of vinegar go up? So pretty much on this shelf here, I've got cordials, and a bulk supply of tomato sauces and things like that, and just drinks and things. So I don't really have any soft drink as such because it's in the fridge outside, but I do always have a backup of lemonade and ginger ale as a standby, and I think I've got some Coke out there. But just these were sort of on special the other week, so I got 2 types. And sometimes the kids will take it in a little reusable popper, but most of the time no. And I've just got some Soda Stream. I got this ginger beer ages ago, and I always have a backup of the chocolate milks, poppers, or either the the juice boxes, I guess they call them. I always call them poppers still. I guess it's just something I said when I was a kid, and I still say them instead of like juice or milk boxes. And I've just got the coffees and tea. So I've got more coffee and tea down here as a backup, which I don't really have a backup of coffee here. I need more coffee. And this is just an English breakfast that I do have occasionally. So I have backup tea up the top that I don't really drink for visitors and things, but this is sort of one I have sometimes. And another container of Uncle Toby's, which is basically empty. I just like it as a collective item. I've had it for years. It's just really nice. And sometimes I do pour the oats in there, but sometimes I forget because it's at the back of the cupboard. So that's usually where just the drinks and things go, backup coffees and things. And this is another box here. I love these Kmart containers. They're just so easy. And I find I do go in there and I do search for things. I don't know. It's not like I forget things are in there, but I do go in there and look for things. But they're just so handy for everything. And I usually get white because white will go with anything. But I am starting to go with a few more blacks and things in my kids' rooms, in their like bookcases for containers and things. So I am going into more of the black. And so, sorry, there's my basmati rice. So I do have a bit of rice there, but that's the bag that I normally get, which is 5 kilos. And I think it used to be like $8 or something on special, but I don't know how much it's gone up to now. I've got an Easy Go backup here. I don't often use it that much. I don't really like the taste of it, but I have it in there. I've got a butter cake mix, so I do usually have a stockpile of those, which probably should be up the top shelf. Rock salt for my grinder. Bicarb as well, which I don't really ever use that much bicarb, usually for cleaning purposes, and a more backup of flour, which I don't buy big things of flour anymore because they get weevils in them and we don't use it. So usually I only have a backup of 1 kilo each, like self-raising or plain, which I don't really have any more plain in there, which I need. And I've got some white sugar, which we use occasionally for desserts and things, but always as a backup too. When I run out of raw sugar, I've got white sugar, because nothing's worse than having to go to the shop for like bread, milk, butter, and sugar, because that's where you end up spending your money. And I have always a backup of this bread mix. I do like this brand, and it's so easy. All I do is just pour the mixture into the bread machine and water, and the yeast is also in a sachet in the box as well. So I get 4 loaves of these, and when I look at this, I think I have a backup of bread. It takes me 3 hours to make it, but there's a backup of bread if I do run out. I don't have to go to the shops and purchase bread that's going to cost me $50 later, because I'll buy other things, but I do like having a backup of bread for my bread machine. And like I said, it does take me 3 hours to cook it, but at the end of it, I have a loaf of bread. So pretty much that's my supplies that I've sort of got here. But I really don't feel like I need an extra stockpile pantry anymore. I've sort of got it organised, and I know what we need, and I know what we need in our freezers and things like that. But it's not just knowing it, it's also having the money for backup as well, which is really hard from week to week, especially when you're just trying to focus on feeding the family in the week, let alone stocking up as well. So I've got here just spices. This is just a spice. I have got a spice rack, like on a turntable thing on my bench, but this is just other spices as well. So we've got a lot of spices in there, which they go there. So that's basically the overview of what our family pantry is looking like at the moment. Like I said, I did spend a day cleaning it on the school holidays. It gets into a real mess. It's not like this all the time, but I'm trying to plan out a situation where it stays a little bit clean, but it's never going to happen. But this is just for the video here. That is what my pantry looks like at the moment, and that's what I've, picked up as must-haves for my stockpile pantry. You can make a stockpile pantry out of anything. It can be a container, a box under the bed, whatever, but it's always good just to get a few little items as a backup when they're on special, even if you just have to put a few dollars aside. So there's my pantry. I'm not sure how long it will stay this clean for, probably not long. So let's go and have a look now at my grocery haul milk run. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've just got a convenient milk run to run through with you. I'm really liking milk run at the moment because I'm finding the products are probably not as expensive as DoorDash as such, and I feel like they come a lot quicker. It's probably an easier process. I've only ever done it once before, but I needed some things this afternoon, like bread and milk, and then you end up spending, I think I spent $88. So let's have a look at what I picked up. So I've got some chicken breast nuggets. These are just handy for after school or weekends. I've got absolutely nothing in the freezer for the kids at the moment. There's like some frozen vegetables and not even any bread. That's why I had to do the milk run today, because I opened up the freezer and there wasn't not one loaf of bread, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's nearly 5 o'clock at night, and I got to make sandwiches for school tomorrow and all that. And we haven't even had dinner yet, so I thought, no, I'll just do milk run. I've got some of these Golden Crunch hash browns. They had a bit of a special on the hash browns on milk run, so I just got them, and these are really nice. They're nice and crunchy ones. I've got a soda water, plenty of soda water there. We've just got 5 bottles because we run out of our soda stream, unfortunately, so we have to get to Big W. Officeworks, I don't think sell it anymore, but I'll need to go there to get some. Oranges, I think these were only about $6 something a bag, so I've got 3 kilos of oranges. We don't have any oranges left, and my kids love these at school, and I have them occasionally during the day as a snack as well. Tic Tacs, I just got a little treat for my son for his school bag. Like sometimes when he's catching the bus, he might just need a little bit of a lolly or something to have when he's waiting for the bus. Just got them for his school bag. I've got some pretzels. I've been waiting to get these in stock because they haven't had them. These are really nice ones, and they're not that expensive. They're about $2 something, so they're always good. I've got some salted mixed nuts. My husband wanted these, so these ones have got macadamia and pistachio. I often buy these ones, and they're also not just filled up with peanuts. They really do give you a decent amount of other nuts other than peanuts. Scotch fingers, my husband wanted them. I just got the home brand ones. These were $1.40 compared to like $4 or $5, so it's crazy. Bananas, we've run out of bananas again. Cost lettuce, I did order the shredded lettuce, but they didn't have it in stock, so they've given me 2 of these, which is a pretty good deal, because lettuces were really expensive. Like the iceberg was nearly $5, so I just chose to get the shredded, but they didn't have it. These were on special for $2 something a box at Milk Run, so I got a cheese and bacon. I thought I got 3 packets, but I mustn't have. I got a savoury one as well, but they're good when they come on special because they can be expensive every other time, and the kids just like them as a snack. Sometimes I'll even end up sharing a box together, but sometimes I'll just put them in a bowl so they don't do that because they're just expensive, aren't they? So yeah, so the shapes were a good deal. I've got some mild Hungarian salami. I just got the Mayfair one again because that's the one we usually have, and it's delicious. I got some olive oil spread. as well, which I don't mind that. I've also got some daily juice. That's always good for breakfast with Wheat Bix and oatmeal and things. Another 3 litres of milk because we've nearly run out of milk again. I can't believe it. It really doesn't last that long in this house. And I just got 3 tiny little cans of baked beans. I think they were like $5 something. They were pretty expensive for what they are, but they're basically for me. And just some white sandwich bread because we needed bread. So I just got the high fibre white sandwich one. And that's basically everything for the Milkrun grocery haul. And thank you everyone for coming along and watching today's video, the pantry overview and also the Milkrun. And I'll see you soon for my next videos. Thanks everyone. Bye.